following show is controversial and contains content you may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
It is Thursday morning. Good morning, Dublin. The 13th day of June 2019. I'm Adrian Kennedy, and between now and midday today, this is 98FM's Dublin Talks, the mid-morning talk and phone-in show for Dublin, by Dublin, and about Dublin. Now, if there is anything that you hear in the programme today that triggers you, you can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. You can send a WhatsApp voice note to that same number, 0877 98 98 98. And you can call us on 6797 981. So let me give you an idea of some of the stuff coming up on today's programme. In a moment, as you will have heard in the news just a second ago, a football team from Clondalkin is being terrorised by Scrambler bikes. Literally running them off the pitch. They can't play football in St. Cuthbert's Park. I'll explain the whole story to you in a couple of minutes. A little bit later on, do we need to be more sensitive about days like Father's Day or Mother's Day when it comes to children who may not have a mother or a father? We hear from Dragon's Den star Nora Casey about a Father's Day message that was sent to her son. Sadly, her son's dad died a number of years ago. We'll hear that story in a while. And just before 11, the dangers of kissing a baby and how simple it is to pass on a cold sore to a child that can leave a child really, really, really sick. All that and much more between now and midday today. It's 98FM's Dublin Talks. Is it? I'm just having a look out here. Weather's not cheering up at all. Do your head in. But I'm in a good mood today, regardless of the weather. Now, first off on the programme today, a Dublin football team has revealed that scramblers being driven at high speeds are forcing children to train away from their usual football pitch. And Clondalkin Celtic wants to see immediate action taken to stop the scourge of the bikes on the full-size pitch they use at St. Cuthbert's Park in South Dublin. And I have a question for you. Is it about time that the councils here in Dublin provided a scrambler park for young people who have scramblers? Or should the Gardaí just go and round the whole lot of them up and impound them all and stop them going out on their scramblers and destroying estates and fields and football pitches and causing harm to the people on the bikes and bystanders? But my main question is it up to the 4 local authorities in Dublin to provide a scrambler park for those who have scrambler bikes, to stop them destroying places around Dublin? I'm joined on the line by Dave McCarthy, who is from Clondalkin Celtic Football Club. Dave, welcome to 98FM. Explain to me, if you will, Dave, what the problem is here.
The problem is that Clondalkin Celtic are trying their hardest to actually start to get training and football matches back on the St. Cuthbert's Park, and also to have local people using this amenity. It's been stopped because of the issues, the antisocial issues of scrambler bikes, and it's just not acceptable anymore.
Okay, so how big a problem is this? How often are scrambler bikes, and the headline in the Herald today says scramblers speeding at up to 60 kilometres per hour on park pitch is terrifying kids' teams. How big a problem and how often is this occurring?
It's practically every night. You know, it's like a racetrack. They've nowhere else to go with the bikes. No, whether somebody builds them a separate park away from houses and give them the facilities, but they certainly can't be going across football pitches. We just can't have that. Okay,
so in terms of the effect that this has had on the club itself, it's gotten to a situation where you literally can't use St. Cuthbert's Park for training or matches or anything.
No, all our matches now are being conducted in Deansrath Community College at a cost to a club of £3,500 a year. We've to rent these facilities. We have another team that has to play down in that play up in Peamount Football Club, and they pay privately for the pitch as well. So it's all coming out of their own pockets to pay for that pitch. Where
there is this public facility available that is ideal, if not for the antisocial behaviour of the Scrambler bikes.
It'll be perfect. If it wasn't for the bikes, this pitch would be perfect. It'd be purpose-built. It's a purpose-built football pitch. It's a proper 11v11 pitch. We play small-sided games on Saturdays. We could put 3 teams on that on Saturday. We could bring a little bit of life back into the community.
So how many people are we talking about using the park for scrambling, for going around on scramblers? Are we talking 10 people, 50 people?
No, we're talking about 20 people. 20 kids were up there the other night on the bikes. There was about 6 bikes flying up and down as I was walking around. And just, intimidating. It was an intimidating kind of situation. For a grown man to feel that, I didn't feel that safe going up. So, 20 kids are ruining it for over 400 or 500 kids using it. 200 and odd kids at the football club anyway should be using this Monday to Friday every evening, and the community could use this then for other opportunities.
Now, St. Cuthbert's...
It doesn't have a swing in the park either. I mean, there is no playground in that park.
Now, St. Cuthbert's is owned by South Dublin Council. What are they saying, and what are the Gardaí saying?
Well, nobody's saying anything. That's why I'm here. And this is the problem. Everybody's saying that, they'll talk to us, they'll listen to us, but as of yet, there's a container going to be put in there now in the next couple of weeks without no protective barrier around it. So we're doing that at a cost to ourselves to make sure that we can. We're fighting this all the time. The club is fighting this. We're driving this all the time to make sure that we don't lose the facilities, because space is very tight now in Clondalkin. There is no open spaces where we can put a football team into.
In terms of scramblers and the use of scramblers, and I know it's a particular problem in St. Cuthbert's Park, but it's also a problem in many parts of Dublin, many parts of Clondalkin. What is the solution to this? Is it for the Gardaí to impound them all, or is it for a facility to be provided so that young people can go and use it? And if such a facility was provided, would it stop this anyhow?
I'm not a politician, and I'm certainly not a community worker, and I don't know what is the absolute proper solution. But other avenues have to be tried. So if you take a Scrambler bike off a 12-year-old kid, surely his mum's just going to go out and buy him another Scrambler bike.
Okay, so that's not the solution.
No, so the solution is leave him with the Scrambler bike and maybe open up a facility out away from housing estates and give them, and let South Dublin County Council, manage this. It works in the UK, it works in Holland, it works in Sweden. There is facilities. We've done it with horses. We've got rid of horses. There's a fantastic facilities down the road in Clondalkin where all the horses are now. The kids have an area. And the horses is practically eradicated away from the area. So the kids have just really swapped from 1 horsepower to 50, 100 horsepower.
Some would argue, though, that parents shouldn't be giving their kids scramblers unless they have somewhere to actually use them.
100%. I mean, what parent buys a child, a 12-year-old child, a Scrambler? The problem lies there. It doesn't lie with the child. The problem lies with the person buying it for the child. These are children. We're not talking about 22-year-olds. We're talking about children on these bikes.
So your message to parents who are providing these bikes to their kids is please think about where they're going to be using them before you even buy them? No,
my message to the parents is cop on. It's plain and simple. It's the most dangerous instrument you could give a child. An 11-year-old child who's not old enough to ride to drive a car or be insured in a car on a road or a motorbike on a road. And these are running. These are not just on the park. It could be on the road. It's on footpaths, country housing estates. It's not just the park. I mean, this should have been highlighted a year ago when that Polishman, I think it was, over in Coolock, was left with life-threatening injuries and life-changing injuries now. Legislation should have been pushed through. I don't know what the government or councillors are waiting for. Are they waiting for multiple deaths or multiple injuries?
Okay, so you're appealing to both the Gardaí and to South Dublin Council to sort this problem out sooner rather than later. Firstly, to ensure that nobody's actually killed on one of these things. But secondly, to ensure that groups like Clondalkin Celtic can actually use a public amenity for what it's intended for in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, these kids are more than welcome in joining into Clondalkin Celtic Football Club and getting involved as part of a team. You know, we're not pushing these kids away. We're not saying to these kids, take away the bikes and give them nothing. I mean, they'll just move on to something else then. Give them the facilities as well. Push them away. I don't know what the solution is as that part. I know what the solution is for Clondalk and Celtic, and that's my concern. For my child who plays with Clondalk and Celtic, I'm with the club 9 months. I just see the fantastic work that's being done by the committee of Clondalk and Celtic, who are banging their head sometimes off a brick wall. So I just decided to see, can we get the attention?
All right, Dave McCarthy from Clondalkin Celtic Football Club. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us on 98 FM.
Thanks a million.
And I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. My question is simple. What is the solution to the ongoing problem, not just in that park in Clondalkin, but all over the city with scramblers? What's the solution? Is it for our 4 local authorities to provide scrambler parks so that they can legally do what they like in them? Or is the solution for the Gardaí to impound every single one of them, especially if they're caught on a public road? What's the solution? Call me right now on 6797 981. Here's Tomo with his thoughts on this.
Well, I think to save everybody money and hassle in the long run, instead of spending millions trying to light up the spire, why don't they build tracks? Do you know what I mean?
Okay, he thinks they should be given tracks. I'd like to hear from you. You can send us a WhatsApp voice note as well to 0877 98 98 98. Pete is in Leopardstown. You're on 98 FM, Pete. How are you?
Adrian, good morning. How are you getting on?
Good, thank you, Pete. What did you want to say on this?
You must be absolutely joking building motocross parks for these lunatics. Absolutely not. Adrian, I've lived in Holland like that last gentleman said there, right? About motor and saying that they build motocrossing facilities for kids. Yeah, they do, but they're trained correctly how to use motorbikes. They have to have a race license. They have to have the full equipment and be able to go on a motocross bike. They have to start from the PP, which is a small little moped sort of engine on a motorbike, and all the way up before they can go onto a motocross track correctly, you know.
Okay, it's actually properly controlled, right? Well, we have a situation here in Ireland where it's not in any way controlled. Listening to what Dave was saying there, in St Cuthbert's, it's just bloody mayhem.
Adrian, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I've been working around all these areas, and all I hear is motocross after motocross after motocross going around fields. Not even a helmet, a bodyguard on them, or nothing. It's madness. I say take the bikes off them, destroy them, and then find out who the parents are of these kids and fine them. And if they do not adhere to the fine, then do something else about it. I'd increase the sentence on them, because it's madness. Their kids are going to get killed on these motorbikes.
This was one of the things. It was one of the things Dave said, and I get where he's coming from. I can't get my head around how a parent thinks it's okay for their 12-year-old to have a scrambler and to go up to the local park and ride around on. They obviously don't love their kids. They obviously dislike their kids.
It's absolutely nuts. I wouldn't even let my kid out on a push bike without a helmet, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. So these parents clearly don't like their children.
They clearly don't give a shit. It's crazy. It's madness. Like every time I see it, my heart does be in my mouth, because I'm expecting one of them to come off and hit it. Like, all these parks are surrounded by fencing, metal fencing, right? I know the park the man's talking about, and I feel sorry for them, because they're actually a decent club, Clondalkin, you know, and they don't deserve that kind of type of crap. You know, one of their motorbikes goes into one of those fences, it's going to blow up and it's going to kill a child.
And, the one point that Dave mentioned a couple of minutes ago is that, what does it take? Does it take several deaths before something is done about this? We've already had the incident of that Polish man left with life-changing injuries as a result of being hit by a scrambler. Maybe something would have been done if he'd have died. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think it's going to make a difference to these morons, the parents, buying scramblers for their kids. I really don't. I think, let's just, put up and shut up. I'll buy you a motocross if you just keep quiet and get out of my hair for 4 or 5 hours and go annoy somebody else.
Okay, stay there for 1 second, Pete. I'd like to hear from you. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Darren sent us this WhatsApp voice note, and he's basically saying that there's a big factor regarding these bike tracks that we're not thinking about.
Adrian, we are absolutely mad if you think that we should build motocross tracks for these youngsters. Like a couple of weeks ago, you're talking about play centres couldn't afford the insurance. Imagine the money needed behind this. It's as simple as, how are they going to get there? Parents are going to need to get trailers in to transport the bike because it can't be used legally on the road. It's an absolute joke. They don't give a shit. Take them off them, find the parents, and it's as simple as that. If I went out and bought my son an Audi A6 tomorrow and handed him keys and all, and he got stopped by the guards, I would be hammered over it. So it should be the same for these bikes.
Okay, now, so we're asking, what is the solution here? Is it for the 4 local authorities in Dublin to provide scrambler parks so that we can take them out of our public parks, so that somewhere like St Cuthbert's Park in Clondalkin can be used for what it's intended to be used for, as a public amenity and as, pitches for the local football club and everything else? Or is it to get tough, as that message said, and round them all up and burn the whole lot of them? Call me right now on 6797 981.
98FM's
Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less.
98FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. In today's Herald newspaper, a headline reads, Scramblers speeding at up to 60 kilometres per hour on park pitch terrify kids team. This is basically the story about how a football club, Clondalkin Celtic, has had to pull out and stop playing matches at St Cuthbert's Park because of bloody scramblers terrorising the kids. And we're asking whether or not the solution to this is to provide scrambler parks for these kids. And by the way, they're not all 18, 20, 22 using the park and wrecking the place. They're kids. They're like 12, 13-year-olds. Derek, you're on 98FM. How are you, Derek?
Hi, how's it going? How are you
Good,
getting
thank
on?
you. Good, thanks, Derek. What did you want to say?
Well, I don't really want to say too much, but all I really want to say is I don't think it's fair at all for the kids to be getting their scramblers taken off them and impounded by the Gardaí. Like, fair enough, yeah, they're causing very big people to be taken off their football pitches, and some kids aren't getting to know what they're involved in. But a lot of these kids with scramblers don't have a lot of things to be involved in as is.
Stop. No, hang on, Derek. They can join the bloody football club.
Yeah, but not a lot of them would be too interested in it, and a lot of them would have mates that'd be like, they're going to play the football, and they'd be peer pressured into it a lot of times, and a lot of them as well. Like I had there 2 minutes ago, you had somebody on saying that their parents are buying them scramblers. Not half of these kids would be getting them off their friends. Some of them would have spare ones, and they'd be giving them a lend to their mates, or some of them would just buy them out with bits of money they've kept aside and get them for themselves.
Hang on, Derek. Some of these bikes are 400 quid second hand in bits. Do you know what I mean? They don't come cheap.
I know that now 100%. I get what you mean, but a lot of these kids wouldn't really care. They see they get to go on a scramble, have a bit of a vroom vroom around the place.
So hang on. So your defence of this is, Asher, God love them, there's nothing for them to do.
No, I'm not saying there's nothing for them to do. I'm just saying, with the fact that they have scramblers and stuff like that, like I feel the Gardaí should not be going around to impound them. They should be building parks for these kids. There should be scrambler tracks and quad tracks. Because like I know when I was younger, I was out in Coolock with my granddad, and he'd be getting quads and scramblers out, and we'd go around to the big pitch, and he'd be there with a few other the kids' parents and all, and they'd be watching us. It was more safe. Now, not a lot of us wearing helmets now, but we had the adult, kind
supervision,
of watch the whole time. And that's what these parks could bring. If there was, as you're saying, the council to go ahead.
Who pays for these parks, Derek? Do you pay for it?
Well, obviously it'd be coming out of all of our tax. I know 100%. But at the end of the day, the government does need to do a lot more for the kids and stop just worrying about the money.
Okay, stay there for a second, because Robbie, he's basically saying we need to do more for kids, and providing scrambler parks is a start.
It's a great start.
That's just ludicrous to do that.
Why?
Because most of these bikes are 500 to 750cc. If I was to go down to a garage, Adrian, and buy a 500cc Fiat 500, I have to have tax, NCT and insurance plus a licence to have that on the road.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't, I'm going to get pulled over by the guards, I'm going to get fined, I'm going to get brought to court, take my licence off me, the whole lot. But these 13, 14, 15-year-old kids are now flying around on scramblers. It's like, are people mad? And then people are saying, like, build a park for them, spend tax money on building a park. We can't even build houses, and you ask them to build it like a door track. for kids to fly around on bikes. What's wrong with the people of the city? Like, it's too dangerous. Like.
So what is the solution then, Robbie? Is it to go? Is it for the guards to? Yeah, is it for the guards to go and impound every single one of them and destroy them?
100% take them off them. It's too dangerous. You're all saying like, oh, people are going to get killed. People have already been killed.
That's very true. And still, no. You see, what really gets me about this conversation is this is an ongoing problem every day of the week in St. Cuthbert's Park, and it seems the guards do shag all about it.
Well, it's not only St. Cuthbert's Park. It's all.
No, I know it's not.
Finglas, Ballymun, Ballyferma, it's everywhere. You simply take the bike off them.
But if you're going to take
it off them,
these kids, every single one of them are going to rebel.
What's a 13 or 14-year-old going to rebel against the guard for?
But it's not just one 13 or 14-year-old, though. You have to understand, like, these are groups of kids.
Listen, Derek, this is not a movement from the 60s you're on about. You take the bike off them, it's as simple as that. If the child starts to pick up a rebel, you put the child in the back of a guard car and you bring him to his home.
Have you seen the fathers of these kids?
Sorry, I can't hear both of you. Sorry, say that again.
Have you not seen what some of the kids do in some of the areas when they have nothing to do? Like, they literally have nothing to do. They'll go around causing trouble. They'll start robbing cars. There's literally, I've seen videos of...
So your solution to stop kids robbing cars is to give them a scrambler to kill themselves.
I'm not saying that's the solution. That's why I'm saying the scrambler should not be taken off the kids at all, because if they are, they're all just going to rebel. And it's not just one 13 or 14-year-old in one area. It's literally 30 13 or 14-year-olds and then more older.
But Derek, Derek, you're talking about something that is part of the problem here. Are we afraid of teenagers now?
It's not even that. It's the fact that they're rebellion. Like, we could be afraid of anybody. If you try and take anything away from anybody, they're going to rebel, especially when it's not have nothing else to be done.
Sure, God loves them. The point I made to you a while ago, Derek, is hang on, there is a football club, Clondalkin Celtic, that they could join, but they're just not ours. They want to do something that they're not meant to be doing. They want to go around on a scrambler bike and destroy the park that the football club is trying to play in. But
can I ask Derek a question?
Is there any other clubs? Is there any other clubs for them to join, though? Not a lot of kids like football.
Yeah, there's loads of... Clondalkin has more facilities than most parts of Dublin. This excuse of, sure, God loves them, there's nothing else for them to do, is a load of rubbish. Sorry, go on, Robbie.
Have you got kids, Derek?
Have I got kids? No, yeah. Fuck, I don't.
Don't mind the language, go on.
See, there you go. That right there, that attitude right there is why you have the opinion. I have 3 kids, all right? They're all under the age of 8. If my child came to me at the age of 13 or 14 and says, I want to scrambler, that's what I want to do with my downtime when I'm off school or when I'm not doing what I have to be doing, I want to ride a scrambler around the park, they'd be getting told no. No. Because your child's safety is the most important thing to you when you become a parent. And I don't want my child flying around the park, either hitting some other kids or hitting a wall or hitting the fences.
That was the point that I said a while ago, and I firmly believe this. The parents... And I know there's some listening to us right now who have bought their young fella a scrambler bike and allow them to go out in places like Cuthbert's Park to ride on it, don't like their children at all. They dislike their own children, because if you didn't...
say they dislike
they have to. They have to, Robbie. How could you possibly send your...
their children? It's just lazy parenting. It's just like... It's the old age attitude that people have. I just give him what he wants and he won't be annoying me. It's not that they dislike their children. I don't think anyone out there dislikes their children.
But you must, Robbie. Well, you mustn't love your child if you're prepared to let them go out on a scrambler bike.
I don't think I'll go as far as saying that they dislike their children, but I would say that it's lazy parenting.
Okay, stay there for a second, Rob. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note from John. He says that the scrambler situation is at crisis point.
As the boys were saying, Aidan, that's an epidemic now. It's all over the place. People being hurt and injured all over. Kids flying all over. They got flying in front of main roads, in front of cars, hitting poles. And a few years ago, Christmas Day, there was a poor little youngster killed. And imagine how his parents feel. It's an epidemic all over the place now. If they're not properly registered and not properly in proper areas, take them and scrap them. And if they go out and buy more, take them and scrap them either. And what are they going to do about it? Run amok? What do people do when the cars are taken off them? Nothing. They either pay what's up or do the proper stuff for. Do you know what I mean? if they can't just do what they want, if that's the case, let the guards do what they want. Take them, scrap them. Every time they get them, take them, scrap them.
And another message says, that guy Derek is not with it at all. If you don't own land or can't access land approved by the owner, you shouldn't own a scrambler or a quad when living in a housing estate. It's absolute madness. Here's another WhatsApp voice note saying basically that the bikes are being used for a more sinister reason.
Adrian, these bikes are not being used as a hobby. It's a full-time business in there for drug dealing. That's why they're on them, going all across the park, dropping money one side, drugs the other side. So Scrambler Park is not going to do anything for them. That's what they're using these scramblers for, 24/7 in Cuthbert's Park.
Okay, and let me just bring in one last call. Jeff, you're a local, you live in Clondalkin, but also an adult biker.
Yeah.
And what did you want to say?
Right. The first fella, he was right in saying they should actually build somewhere for them, because if there is something, like in Clondalkin, for instance, there's nothing but fields out there. You know what I mean? There is a lot of fields out there. A dirt track is nothing, you know what I mean? It's dirt. It says it on the tin, you know what I mean? If they could go around there and be supervised down it, well and good, right? I'm a biker. I did it years ago. I did motocross years ago, but I did it properly. I didn't go out and I lived in town, so I couldn't.
Okay, so sorry, Jeff, your solution is to provide some sort of a scrambler park.
Yeah, because everyone's saying about football. I didn't like football. I still don't like football. You know what I mean?
No, but there's more than just football available in Clondalkin.
That's what your man keeps saying. But there's not actually. If you go out to Clondalkin, there's nothing out there. Being honest with you, there's nothing in it. You have a football club in it, and that's it.
So your solution is for the taxpayer to fund the construction of a park where they can legally scramble?
Yeah, because they do it for playgrounds, don't they? They make playgrounds. They make football pitches. You know, it's a hobby. You know, it is a hobby.
Yeah, but it's a hobby that's destroying other people's hobby, playing football, for example.
Yeah, but that's
or even the pleasure of walking through a publicly owned park is being destroyed.
And if they had somewhere that they could do it, they wouldn't have that problem.
If that were true, Jeff, I'd agree with you, but I don't even believe that that's true. I believe that if a Scrambler Park was open, they'd still do it. That's the really annoying part. That's the really annoying part.
I don't think they would, being honest. No, I don't agree with them on the road. I'm a biker. Some of them are assholes on the road, you know what I mean? And even more the older people, I would say, are even worse, you know, on the road.
Okay, but the bottom line is we need some sort of a bike park for these.
I think, that's what I think. And if it was supervised properly, you know what I mean?
All right, Jeff, thanks very much indeed for your call, and thank you all of you for your calls. I'm way out of time. You're listening to 98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. Now, Round Towers GAA Club, Dublin Lions Basketball. Your man is talking rubbish. There's loads of stuff to do in Clondalkin, and there is loads of stuff to do in Clondalkin. I always find that excuse of God loves them, there's nothing for them to do, to be absolute rubbish. It's down to the parents for not pointing them in the direction of the correct thing to do, rather than buying them the bikes and allowing them out on the bloody things. Anyway, this is South Dublin Council and the Gardaí need to get on this straight away. They need to deal with this. And in fact, just to wrap up, Jay just sent a message kind of agreeing with what I was saying a second ago.
Don't mind him, Adrian. There's a bike track in Mulhutter that the locals set up. It's great. You see all the scramblers going down there, but there's still little scumbags who use the fields because they know they're not supposed to be doing it, so they enjoy it. Nothing got to do with the track at all.
All right, thanks very much indeed. And I mean, the reality of it is, and this is the annoying part, if there were scramblers going around in some of the posher parks of Dublin, let's say, it would be dealt with straight away. It would be stopped straight away. And it's about time that South Dublin Council and An Garda Síochána got on top of this and allowed people to use St Cuthbert's Park for what it's intended for. Anyway, thank you. I'm way out of time. Can't bring any more to you. On the way after the break, is it insensitive of a company to send a text message to somebody about Father's Day when that person no longer has a father? I'll explain this whole story straight after the break.
98FM's
Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors. where quality flooring costs less.
98FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. If you want to get in contact with us, you can send us a text or WhatsApp message to 0877 98 98 98, or you can call us on 6797 981. And you may have an opinion on this next conversation, because it's something that a lot of people on social media agree about. Dragon's Den star Nora Casey took to social media yesterday to highlight something that seems to become an issue in recent years. Now, Mother's Day and Father's Day, and whether or not we need to be a bit more sensitive when it comes to how we advertise the day or promote the day. We no longer have traditional families. Some children have no daddy or no mammy, or have two mammies or two daddies. Some have never met their daddy or even know who he is. So Nora, as I said, took to social media to highlight a text that was sent to her son, Dara, whose dad died back in 2011, and got a bit upset by the text he received from 3 Ireland. Now, 3 sent this mass marketing text out, and we all get stuff like this, and it said, here's what the message said from 3. Win a €1,000 makeover for your dad this Father's Day. And it goes on, join 3 Plus now and blah, 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 blah. But the point being, win a €1,000 makeup for your dad this Father's Day. And when you get that message and your dad has passed away, or you don't have a dad, it's like, oh. And as I said, Nora took to social media, went on a bit of a rant about it, and got a lot of support. So she joins me on the line. Nora, will you explain to me what the problem is here?
So I think the difference between advertisements for Father's Day and the text message was it felt very personal, because young people, like my son, they feel that their phone is just an adjunct to them. It's just part of them, their personality. And the text message came in from 3 Mobile to say, celebrate, treat your dad to a makeover for Father's Day. It's €1,000 promotion. And, of course, Dara's dad, my husband, has passed away. So, I think there was that moment of this actually pinged into my inbox on my phone, and he was a bit upset, just because it felt very personal, because it came into his phone rather than maybe on television or in the newspapers or outdoor advertisements when you can ignore it. And I just felt that maybe when people send out those very huge, block text marketing, they might think about that. All of those marketing campaigns are meant to be very personal. That's what they're supposed to be, is that they reach right into the very soul of you. They go straight to you as a person rather than relying on you to casually come across the advert. And when they do that, they might just, Dara's not the only person without a dad. I don't have a dad. In my friendship circle, there's a lot of people who don't have dads. So if it's to do with something very personal like that, then maybe they should think whether or not that's still the right way of sending a message, given that they may be alienating quite a lot of people that they send it to.
Now, obviously, companies like 3 Ireland run various different competitions and send out text messages like that and encourage you to enter and so on. What other way could they have run a competition like this, where they, just to read the message again, it says, win a €1,000 makeover for your dad this Father's Day, join 3 Plus now, blah, blah, blah. What other way could they run a competition like that?
Well, since I raised the issue, there's been lots of people who have, I think on LinkedIn about 30,000 people have engaged with it, and they've come up with ideas like, which I think is a good idea, maybe saying for the man in your life, or, a family, it could be a family offer that it didn't make out that actually your family is abnormal if you don't have a dad, and they weren't making that out. I mean, I'm being honest here that 3 Mobile immediately sent a message saying, I'm sorry if we caused any upset. And of course, Dara knows he can opt out of the text messaging, but actually he kind of likes 3 Mobile's marketing. He's a pay-as-you-go customer, so they often give good offers. So he kind of likes them. So I'm not saying that the idea of sending text messages is a bad thing. It's just for some marketing promotions, it's not great. Lots of people on Twitter, I think, all day yesterday, people are coming up with ideas saying, there are people obviously in same-sex marriages. There's people who don't have fathers because they were a single mom. There's people who had fathers because maybe they divorced and they're not relevant in their lives anymore. So it's not just when your father's passed away. So maybe in modern society it's better to kind of make it more of a family issue.
Okay, but where do we draw the line on something like this? Yeah. Let's say, for example, if a company sends out a text message in December, celebrate Christmas with such and such a company, and it gets sent to somebody who is non-Christian.
Yeah, that's true. And I wasn't making an enormous issue about the fact that, it was specific to Father's Day. There is something quite different about marketing text messages to other forms of marketing. We live in a society now, particularly if you're a young person, like Dad doesn't watch TV, so he doesn't read newspapers, he's sitting on YouTube. So I guess the challenge for marketing companies now is how do you get to those people and how do you make it personal to them? And while they're doing that, I think they just have to be sensitive around some of those things, because advertising is totally different when you come across it as you're scrolling through a website, or if you're looking at TV, or if you're casually passing on a bus and you see a big billboard. These are all things that you choose to look at or not look at. But our phones, and I particularly for young people, phones are very much part of you and your person. And as much as you wouldn't call somebody on the phone to say, hey, I have a great idea for your dad this Father's Day, do you want to take part in a promotion, without knowing whether the other person had a father, you can imagine that would feel a little intrusive to you. Then you just have to think a little bit about what's the best form of marketing in those terms. There's loads of opportunities to market to people, umpteen opportunities to market to people. But when it comes to that very personal connection, then maybe they should think about how do they make it very personal.
Okay,
of course, to your point, you other people have said, well, what can they do to avoid doing that? I mean, it's sometimes just about a language. It's just about saying, maybe it doesn't really matter. I'm not great into these Hallmark days myself. I mean, I haven't had a dad for quite a long time, so it doesn't bother me at all that Father's Day is coming up and there's various promotions for it. It's just that one was sent by text message. That's the difference. Okay, so the text message makes it much more personal and it's being read by one person individually on their phone. And again, the message said, win €1,000 makeover for your dad this Father's Day. And sadly, your son Dara lost his dad a number of years ago, and it's like, boom. Yeah, and it's not a big, would I say there's no sense of distress, just that momentary, wow, could my day get any worse? Look at the text that I've just received. That kind of, feeling of somebody reminding you of something that probably is there already reminding you. And to go back to your point about Christmas, of course it's true that there are huge sections of the population, that for a variety of reasons may not enjoy Christmas anyway, maybe not even for religious reasons, and they live through all of the marketing and the hype, and that's just part of life. It's part of life that we go through these periods, which sometimes are difficult for some people. When it comes to the loss of a parent, particularly a father, given the mortality rates of men, there's quite a lot of people who don't have a dad for all sorts of reasons, and I just think that maybe the marketing should be less specific to the text messaging promotion. Now, I will say in defense of 3 Mobile, because I have absolutely, I said from the beginning, I know there's no intention on that marketing team to upset anybody. They have no idea when they're texting who has a dad and who doesn't. But when they're brainstorming what they might do about those kind of days in future, maybe they could think about whether a less direct approach, a more family approach. But
isn't it the case that everything, no matter what sort of marketing text they might send out, could cause different offence to different people?
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of balancing that. I think if you feel that the campaign is worth making that kind of offence, then that's fine. That's a balance you take. I think this probably went out without anybody really thinking about the consequences if it came to people who, for a variety of reasons, didn't have a dad.
Okay, so in terms of future marketing from companies, you're simply asking them to think a little bit more closely before they specifically personalise something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just imagine if you didn't have a dad and you received that, how would you feel? As opposed to this weekend, get X amount off your texts or your calls, which is a great marketing campaign, and you're still getting your message out. Now, ironically, I think because I put that out on social media platforms. It probably reached a huge amount of people yesterday. And I think for people who have dads, it's a great competition. So I'm not, in no way am I making any issues around 3 Mobile. And I'm just saying that there is a wider issue maybe around text marketing and things that are good for text marketing and things that aren't when they're personal.
Right, well, it started a very interesting conversation. Nora Casey, thanks very much indeed for talking to us on 98 FM.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Joanne, who got the exact same text. This is, by the way, sorry, Joanne, I just want to remind people what this text was. This is a marketing text sent out by 3 Ireland, and they do lots of stuff like this. And it said, from 3, win a €1,000 makeup for your dad this Father's Day. And you got the same text, Joanne. And what effect did it have on you, if any?
When I first saw it, I was a bit shocked. Because I'm like, why are they sending me that? I don't have a dad, you know. I didn't take it, like, offensively, because how are they to know? But
is it not all to do with the way it was worded?
Yeah. I mean, they could have said something like, I don't know, the man in your life, or, you know, something like that, or let's celebrate Father's Day this way. I don't know. They could have maybe worded it a bit different.
Okay, but it didn't upset you as such, did it?
It did.
Oh,
yeah.
It did?
Yeah, it did.
And what's the story?
I thought it was like, I don't have a dad, you know. And then it made me think of my dad. And, you know, coming up to Father's Day, I try not to think about it.
Because your dad disappeared, did he?
Yeah. He left my ma for another woman. And never seen him since.
Oh, really? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
right,
I know.
But does it bother you then, Joanne, if you walk into your local news agents and the first thing you see is a whole display of cards for Father's Day? Does that bother you?
No. You see, I have kids now, and I can celebrate Father's Day with their dad. But for me personally to receive something like that, maybe if it was generalised, like, they had to say something like the dad in your life instead of for your dad. I don't know. I mean, you can't censor everything, you know, because people are.
This was the point that I was trying to make. And in fact, just to go back to Nora Casey's tweet that she put up yesterday, there's a line in her own tweet that I found a little bit offensive, and I should have said it to her. And it says, my son Dara, who doesn't have a dad, got this text yesterday. Now, Dara does have a dad. He just happens to have passed away. And that's the way she wrote that is perhaps a little bit offensive as well, because he does have a dad.
You see, that, you know, that's sort of nitpicking as well.
But this is the point. This is exactly.
He doesn't have a dad to celebrate Father's Day with.
But this is exactly the point that I'm making, that it's nitpicking. And is it not nitpicking to be having a go at 3 for saying win a €1,000 makeup over for your dad this Father's Day?
It is a bit nitpicky, but, I mean, people are entitled to feel how they feel. Like, I saw that, I got upset about it, but it did make, you know, bring up some memories. But, I mean, that message went to thousands of people.
Explain to me, though, Joanne, explain to me the difference between getting a text like that and walking into every newsagent in Dublin and seeing displays of Father's Day cards.
I suppose when you walk into a shop, you can walk past that rail of cards and presents and stuff. You can walk past it, but when someone messages you and you open a text message and you see that, I mean, I was over in about 10 minutes. I was, okay, there it is. Thanks for reminding me. I have no dad. But,
okay, all right. No, I take the point. Stay there for 1 second if you can, please. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Calls flooding in on this. Jeanette sent a message on WhatsApp voice note saying this has gone too far.
What, so take Father's Day away from fathers now? Is that not a bit selfish of you to think that way? Like, make it about families? This has gone way too far. It's ridiculous.
And John also thinks it's way over the top.
Adrian, it's getting a bit much now, isn't it? Only a bloody woman can find out an issue and cause a big issue over Father's Day. It's getting bad, man. You know what I mean? McDonald's, you can't advertise food, you're annoying diabetics. Or don't advertise trampolines because paraplegics are getting offended. This is nuts, like. Get a grip, get a life, get on with it, be positive.
We're back in just a moment.
98
Live and exclusive to Dublin's 98FM, Monday through Friday between 10 and midday. This is Adrian Kennedy. You're with 98FM's Dublin Talks. And Trish is here with Thursday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. People racing Scrambler bikes have forced a young football team, Clondalkin Celtic FC, off their pitch at St Cuthbert's Park. The club, which is now renting the grounds of a local college, is calling for immediate action. Syrian officials say there have been no moves to bring Lisa Smith home to Ireland. The head of foreign relations in the war-torn country said the Irish government has not requested the repatriation of the Dundalk native who's currently in a refugee camp there. Ireland is one of the least family-friendly countries in the EU. That's according to UNICEF, which has looked at supports offered in 31 countries. Parental leave, access to childcare and the uptake of breastfeeding were all examined. And almost 70% of families who have recently become homeless in Dublin were living in the private rental sector beforehand. That's according to a new report from Focus Ireland. 9 out of 10 respondents had lived in their last stable home for over a year. Now you're up to date on 98.
Thanks very much indeed, Trish. Now, Dragon's Den star Nora Casey took to social media yesterday and she put up the following tweet. She said, "My son Dara, who doesn't have a dad, got this text yesterday. He was a bit upset because it seemed personal, arriving by phone message. When they do bulk text marketing, I know 3 Ireland don't know who has a dad and who doesn't, but maybe a different approach would be better." Now, we were talking to Nora just before the break there, and she's referring to the following message, a marketing message from 3 Ireland, which was obviously sent to probably all 3 Ireland customers, and it said, "Win a €1,000 makeup for your dad this Father's Day." Now, you heard a caller there a moment ago that she was a little bit upset by that because her dad disappeared 7 years ago. Nora's son, Dara, his dad died back in 2011. And that's what we're talking about, and some reaction to this, I have to say. Fiona's in Finglas. Fiona, you're on 98FM. How are you?
Grand, how are you?
Good, thank you, Fiona. What did you want to say on this?
Oh, I just think it's gotten a little bit ridiculous. Like, my dad died when I was younger, and my mum just wouldn't have kind of put up with me getting... I don't mean put up with me getting upset about something like that, but she would have explained to me that they're an advertising company. They don't care. They just want to make money.
Well, it's not that they don't care, but they don't know.
I don't. To be honest, I think advertising companies just want to make money. They don't really mind. If they're going to target 70% of people out there, if 70% of people do have a dad in their life, I think they're going to be happy with that. I don't think they intend to upset people, but they're not going to tailor their text messages to people either.
And can I ask you, in terms of, and this is the question I asked that other lady a couple of minutes ago, like, does it bother you when you walk into your local Spar and there's a display of Father's Day cards in the front door?
No, it doesn't, because I think a lot of people these days, like, it's okay to get upset. Like, it's like stuff like that, I think, is good for people, because if you do think, like, when I was that age, if I got upset about Father's Day, my mum would sit me down and we'd talk about my dad and we kind of say, okay, well, do you want to make him a card, and we'll go up to the grave and we'll go for a walk on the beach, or we'll make a day out of it. Like, people need to, you can't change the world, but you can change how you feel about things. You need to be able to deal with your emotions. People are always going to get triggered about stuff. There's always going to be, like, I don't know, if I saw something, my dad was into fishing, if I saw something to do with fishing, they wouldn't know that reminds me of my dad, but it does. Yeah. So I need to deal with that emotion. The world can't.
In fact, you could argue that if you lose somebody so dear to you, everything can remind you of them.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you need to deal with your emotions. You can't expect the world to change for you. No one, unless people are trying to upset you. But if someone isn't trying to upset you, then they don't know what's going to upset people. Like, you just have to deal with
a marketing text from 3 Ireland saying get a makeover for your dad for Father's Day is not the same thing as somebody sending you a horrible message. Ha ha ha! You don't have a dad.
Exactly. And it's okay to be in grief, and it's okay to feel sad and deal with things. You don't have to be happy all the time about things. It's, I think a lot of people, they lash out, oh my God, I felt sad, so therefore I'm really angry at the mobile company and this isn't right and how dare you make me feel sad. And it's like, well, that's just life. That's being a human and having emotions. That's just the way things are. Like,
all right, stay there for a second. Let me go to Miriam. You're on 98FM. Miriam, how are you?
I'm good, Adrian. How are you?
Miriam, can you see why somebody might be upset by getting a text like that?
No, not at all.
Oh.
No, I lost my dad when he was 56 to bowel cancer, and I'm a single mother, so there's never been a father present in my daughter's life. So I could potentially be very upset. over all the Father's Day events, but...
Oh, yeah, so a text like that could upset you because your dad isn't around, could upset you because your daughter's dad isn't around, but you would just brush it off, would you?
Well, I would just realise that whatever I feel, that's my feelings, and I have to move on. My biggest fear is not about getting text messages like that. My biggest fear is my daughter growing up in a culture where she can't blink without somebody getting offended.
Oh,
like my daughter,
being a complete snowflake?
Absolutely. Do you know, like, we can't have certain songs at Christmas. You can't say certain words. You can't, like, it's getting to a point where my daughter will live in a culture where literally she won't be able to express anything in the fear of upsetting someone. Like, I heard the other day that in colleges they're having, like, these spaces where no interaction, no kind of conflict, no kind of debate of any kind can happen. That's totally contrary to what a college is. A college should inspire you to debate and have these conversations. But we're getting to the culture where we don't know, you can have a space where you don't think anymore.
Now, somebody actually argued when it comes to Father's Day, even if your father has passed away or whatever, that Father's Day is actually a day of remembrance as well.
Absolutely. And like when my daughter grows up and she says, well, where's my dad or whatever, I'll explain to her that there's loads of different types of families and our family is just one without a dad in it. And she'll have to cope with that because that's life. And like, as a secondary school teacher, we're not preparing the children to face reality. We're dumbing down exams and we're giving everyone a prize, and then they go into the real world and they crumble because they don't know what reality is. So I think these mothers and parents that are perpetuating this snowflake culture are awful people.
So Nora taking to social media saying that Ireland need to have a different approach. You think this is ridiculous, do you?
Well, I don't think she's a good parent.
Oh, that's a bit... I don't know if it's a bit harsh, but anyway, yeah.
In the sense that she's not a good parent, in the sense that she is.
But now her son is 21 or nearly 21.
Well, that's even worse then. Do you know what I mean? That's even worse. Like, there's one thing even being a helicopter parent when your child is a toddler. Being a helicopter parent when your child is 21 is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not saying she's a bad parent in other ways, but trying to shield her son from the reality of life, I think, is negligent.
Stay there for a second, Miriam, because Barry, your dad passed away just last October.
That's right, yeah.
My commiserations with you. So this is your very first Father's Day without him.
That's right, yeah. And I just more or less agree with what you said. Like, I still have a father. All right, he's dead. He's not around. But I still think of him every single day. These days don't make me think of any more or any less. I think about him the same every day.
And in fact, that was the point I made about Nora Casey's tweet. And it was only after she was gone I realised, actually, she wrote it fairly badly as well, because her tweet said, my son Dara, who doesn't have a dad, got this text yesterday. Now, her son Dara does have a dad. He just happens to have passed away.
That's exactly what... As soon as I heard you saying that, that's what prompted me to get on and say it, because obviously you still have a father. Now, I do see where other people are coming from, where the fathers aren't on the scene and their kids or their parents tell them that they haven't got a father. But where someone passed away, the father is still... He may not be there in body, but he's there always in spirit.
And in fact, the reality of it is, the one thing we all have in common is whether we know them or not, whether they're dead or not, we all have a father. Every single one of us has.
Exactly, yeah. And it's when you start to push that away...
So getting a text from 3 saying, win €1,000 makeover for your dad this Father's Day, wouldn't offend you at all?
No, not whatsoever, no. It's not a personal attack on me. It's not anything like that. It's what they do as a marketing employee. And I don't see any... Like, you have to go into the shops, as you said already, and see all the cards, and it's on all the pubs, feature father to father.
That's what I was about to ask you. How do you feel about this first Father's Day without your dad?
Oh, it's going to be hard. I mean, the first Christmas or his first birthday just there in May. It's just another milestone that you need to get over. Like, and these things aren't rammed down your neck to try to hurt you or something like that. It's life. You just have to get on with it.
Thanks for talking to us, Barry.
No problem.
Appreciate the call. And let me just wrap this up with a WhatsApp voice note from Mick. His mum has passed away, and Mother's Day can be hard.
Hey, Adrian. My ma died about 2 years ago, and obviously I miss her loads, but, when it comes to Mother's Day and all that, I just try and avoid social media. It's hard, seeing people put up their stuff, but I'm at that age now where it's pretty normal. I can understand where people are coming from. It is tough, but, it's life, and it's to be expected.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98.
I'm Adrian Kennedy. That man there in front of me is Mr. Jeremy Dixon, and we want to talk about first world problems.
Yes, we do this every single Thursday on the show. It's a little feature we call First World Problems, where you share your problems with us that are really not problems in the real world. That's why they're called First World
Problems. Yes. So first world problems are just problems that you have in your life that are so trivial they're almost funny.
Yeah, I have two at the moment that are ruining my life, by the way.
Ruining your life, okay.
The second one I'll mention later on in the conversation, but the first one I have, here's my first world problem.
Yep.
So tomorrow is my brethla.
Your birthday.
My birthday is tomorrow. And as I always do, I've taken the day off work for my birthday. And I checked the weather forecast today, and it says it's going to be piss and rain for my birthday. So I've taken the day off work. Do it every year.
What adult takes their birthday off work?
Most people take
them. No, nobody does. No.
Nobody else.
I never do. I never take a day off. Maybe if it was my 50th or my 60th or some big milestone birthday, maybe. But certainly not for a non-birthday. Your birthday tomorrow is a non-birthday.
Well, every birthday is a birthday.
It's so childish, actually.
Really?
Children don't even get a day off school for their birthday.
Well, I always did because I was never in school for my birthday.
Because it's in June, yeah.
Yeah, my birthday's in June. Does anybody else, just as a by-the-by, does anybody else, I couldn't be the only one that does this.
Take a grown adult.
Yeah, I'm a grown adult.
And we're talking about a non-birthday, and it is.
Well, I mean, at my age, every year is a bonus.
A milestone.
A milestone, it is.
No, but it's not a 30th or a 40th or a 50th.
It certainly is not a 50th.
It's just it's an in-between sort of birthday.
It's just a regular number tomorrow, my birthday.
Yeah, so my point is, how childish is it for you to take a day off because it's my birthday?
Okay, what happened?
Seriously, will you have fairy cakes and little hats on your head tomorrow?
I will not. There'll be Rice Krispie cakes, excuse you. Thanks very much.
Does anybody else take a day off work for their birthday when it's a non-birthday? For example, I went on holidays with my missus for her 50th birthday.
Hang on, text us please, somebody, because I can't be the only one.
If for a big birthday like her 50th, we went on holidays to celebrate her 50th birthday, yeah? Okay,
she won't be happy with that, by the way.
Why?
You telling the whole of Dublin that she's 50.
Oh.
40th.
Okay, for her 40th. Anyway, the point I'm making is, for a big birthday, maybe, go on a holiday, celebrate, whatever. This is a non-birthday and you're taking a day off work.
It's just a thing I've always done. Anyway, I decided to take I had a day in lieu that was left, and I decided to take it. I always take a day off my birthday, and I decided to take tomorrow off for my birthday. And I checked the weather app this morning, and my first world problem is that I was planning on doing something very special for my birthday tomorrow, and the thing I was going to do, well, the weather's not conducive to what I want to do tomorrow.
Oh, it's going to be raining tomorrow?
Well, I was going to go down to Courtown tomorrow, which is one of my favourite places to go to, and that's how I was going to spend my birthday. And
well, hang on. Diana wants to know what's wrong with me.
Of course you take a day off for your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
What's wrong with you?
No.
You celebrate these days. Don't even think about it. If it's raining on your birthday in my country, usually you get a lucky year and you have loads of money. Hugs and kisses.
I don't know what country that is. So if it rains on your birthday, you have a lucky year. Well, then you're sorted. Then stop giving out about your first world problem.
I am sorted. So I think you're in the minority. I think everybody thinks it's a good idea to take a day off for your birthday.
Well, I've never done it. I've never ever taken a day off for my birthday.
Well, that's because you take about 6 holidays a year, so all your holiday days are used up. I had a day that was just hanging there, and I always use a day every year for the birthday. I think it's no. Here's the bottom line here.
Yeah,
there's nobody that wants to work on the day of their birthday.
To me, a birthday is just another day that you might get a couple of presents. That's all it is. I mean, what is the big deal? You're 1 year older. It's hardly something to celebrate.
I think when you're
1 year closer to the grave.
When you have kids, I think it's more special. when you have young kids.
Yeah, but I still don't get the idea of taking the day off work.
Well, put it this way, I told my young fella this morning, I'm off tomorrow for my birthday. That's great, Daddy, we can spend the day together. Now I have to tell him that it's going to be piddling rain for the whole day. Ruined.
I would love to hear from you on 6797981. Not just about that, about first world problems. So Jeremy's first world problem is he's taking the day off work tomorrow for his birthday, and it's going to be raining tomorrow. So his plans are out the window. That's his first world problem.
Can't go to Courtown.
What is your first world problem? Here's Darren.
Oh, lads, first world problem. The up button on my Apple TV remote control is absolutely broken and is a nightmare to pick something to watch. First world problem.
It is so difficult to use your Apple TV when the up button isn't working.
Is that a box that I don't have Apple TV?
Yeah, and you need a little small remote control, and if the up button isn't working, you can do nothing. Now, I will say to Darren, there is an app you can get. If you have an iPhone, you can get the remote control as an app on your phone, which is actually...
Or just buy a replacement remote control. Can you get one?
You can, yeah.
Does it exist?
Yeah, they do. Bella is... Oh, hang on. Wait till we see. Now, Bella's on this line. Bella, how are you?
Hello.
Bella, you get a day off for your birthday.
Yes. If it falls on the working day, our boss allows us the day off. But we don't get a day in lieu if...
Oh, so you either take it... Oh, right, I'm with you. Right, okay. So you either take the day off on your birthday or you don't get it in lieu.
Exactly.
Now...
Hang on a sec there. Are you listening, Michael? Michael's upstairs. He has the show on.
All right, yeah.
Hint, hint.
What, that you shouldn't have to take it out of your holidays?
Well, what company do you work for, Bella? What are they called? What's their name?
ACOM Business Services.
ACOM Business Services.
ACOM.
Oh, like your man who's the rapper. Isn't that his name? Or his name is Acorn, is it?
Acorn.
Whatever.
And is that in your contract that you get a day off for your birthday?
No, just he's very kind.
Yeah, it's nice to have a kind boss who gives you days off for your birthday, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Okay, anyway, let's just get this issue out of the way here, this birthday issue. Taking a day off for your birthday when it's not a big birthday, it's just an average... Yeah.
Well, would you take it as a day holidays if he didn't give it to you, Bella?
Well, he gives it to us if it falls on a working day, so we don't need to take a day's holiday. But if it falls on a Saturday or Sunday, you're off.
No, but supposing you move to a company, say, like, for instance, 98FM, it doesn't give you a day off for your holidays. Supposing you were
for your
working
birthday.
Supposing you were working for 98FM, would you put in for a day's holidays for your birthday?
Yes.
No, so childish. It's my birthday today. Jeremy's one of those people that loves when, like, all the staff gather around and sing happy birthday and give a birthday cake.
It's all about me.
Stephen thinks you are completely wrong.
Come on, lads. Who wants to be reminded about their birthday? Just reminds you another year closer to death.
And that's exactly the point that I was... I know, I said that just a second ago. You're one step closer to the grave each birthday.
I'm in my 30s and kicking.
You're not in your 30s. That's the reality of it. In fact, if I were to remind you again what age you are tomorrow, and you realise you're not actually in your 30s...
I'd do a double shift in here, wouldn't I?
Call us right now on 6797981. Enough about the birthday. I think you're a big child and there's no need to be wasting a day's holidays for your birthday.
You're saying enough about it, you're still moaning about it.
Yeah, it's
You're
ridiculous.
more triggered by it than I am.
All right, what is your first world problem? Here's Sergio.
Hi, it's Sergio from Brazil. My first world problem is the time zone, because here it's difficult to me to listen you every day because I won't wake up at 5 o'clock.
Oh.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, Sergio. Sergio lives in Brazil and he listens to us every day.
I thought he was a Brazilian living in Ireland.
No, he's living in Brazil. And so in Brazil it's 4 hours behind here, so it is 7:20 in the morning.
It's only 4 hours in the difference?
In Brazil, in eastern Brazil,
but Brazil seems like so far away.
4 hours, and poor old Sergio has to get up early. Sorry about that, Sergio.
Podcast, Sergio. You can listen to us anytime.
Exactly. Anyway, what is your first world problem? Call us right now on 6797981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. Share with us now your first world problem.
98FM's
Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors. where quality flooring costs less.
98FM.
Oh, I meant to mention to you, in our hand here, we have a pair of cinema passes for IMC Cinemas to give away. I meant to say that to you a second ago. For the best first world problem. Okay, the most pathetic first world problem. A first world problem is a problem that just isn't really a problem at all, really, in the grand scheme of things. Like this, for example. My first world problem is I can't hear my favourite TV show while I'm eating crunchy snacks. I have to put the subtitles on. That's from Luna. Thank you, Luna.
Sorry, what's the issue?
Can't eat like a packet of crisps while she's watching her favourite television show because of the noise of the crisps.
Here's one on Twitter. I don't get this. I don't understand this. From Liz, Adrian, and she says, "I'm devastated, lads. My first world problem. My local deli has ran out of how do you pronounce that water?
San Pellegrino.
San Pellegrino sparkling water. What will I do? Sorry, what's so special about San?
It's lovely. It's nice.
It's water, though.
Yeah, I know.
Is there something I'm missing here?
No, fizzy water.
How do you pronounce it? I've seen people drink
San Pellegrino.
Posh people drink it, don't they?
It's Italian, and they make orange and.
Oh, it's Italian water. Okay,
it is. Yeah,
Italian water. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's basically it.
As opposed to.
And it's fizzy Italian water. That's really.
But
it.
how is Liz's life?
No, because you can get fizzy Ballygowan as well.
And will it be different?
I don't think so, but
San Pellegrino is it expensive?
It's more expensive than the average water.
So you're paying for expensive water.
Correct. Anyway, first world problems. You could win yourself a pair of cinema passes for IMC Cinemas with your pathetic, ridiculous first world problem. Like this. Oh yeah, hang on. This one from Mark.
My first world problem is having to clean the coffee grinds out of the coffee machine every morning before I make coffee. Just drives me absolutely up the bleeding wall.
It's ridiculous. You have to clean it.
It grinds his gears. Yeah, it grinds.
Yeah. What is your first world problem? Text or WhatsApp or send us a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Joey, you're on Dublin's 98 FM. How are you, Joey?
How you doing, Adrian? How's things?
Joey, what is your first world problem?
This might get me into trouble now. This one with the wife.
Good. We like trouble. Yep.
My first world problem is, say for instance, my wife would cook me, say, a pasta dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I'd come home, I'd eat the pasta dinner, and she'd say, "Now is that nice?" And I'd say, "Yeah." And then I live on it for a month. She cooks it every second day till it turns my stomach.
Yeah, they do. My mother used to do that as well. I remember one day she decided to make me spaghetti bolognese, and I said, "Oh man, I loved that spaghetti bolognese," and I had it every day for a month.
Yeah. My missus is born water. I'd love her.
No, stop. Now you are getting yourself into trouble.
I'll tell you, she won't burn water if it's San Pellegrino water. You can't burn it.
No.
Can't burn it.
No.
Beautiful.
You see, I'm the exact opposite, Joey. If I get a dish that I like, I just keep asking for it over and over again. For example,
but you can only do it for so long. You can only take a dinner for so long.
Yeah, this really does my wife's head in. Okay, we were in our local a couple of weeks back, and on the menu they had vol au vents with chicken.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. And I love them, right? And every time we go into our local now, which is the Cool Key Lodge, I order, even if it's not on the menu, I ask them would they make me vol au vents and chicken, and she gets embarrassed that I eat that.
The arrogance of you swan.
Just over and over and over again.
So you swan into the the Cool Key Lodge.
Give some of your lovely vol au vents.
Hey, Adrian, here, I want vol au vents.
Yep.
My God.
Yeah. And in fairness to them, they do. Which is very kind of them. Thanks very much, lads.
You charge?
And if I give out, then I won't get a dinner, you see, so I can't really say anything.
Right, so you end up eating the... But then don't compliment any dish then in future.
I give some of it to the dogs when she's not looking, and then I get myself a sandwich.
Geez, you're really digging a hole for yourself now.
No, she's not listening, I checked.
It's like that expression, the expression people use for cheaters, and they say, "Why have burger when you can have steak at home every night?" Who wants steak every night?
No, it'd be tedious.
No,
nobody does.
Put your stomach out for a couple of nights.
Thanks, Joey.
All right, guys.
Good luck. Jenna, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Jenna?
Hiya, good.
Jenna, what is your first world problem?
Choosing a nail colour.
That is, it's just a nightmare, isn't it?
Oh my God, I'm only after coming out of the salon and I was just like to the girl, just put whatever on, I don't care, I'm just so over now picking the colours.
And what is because I don't wear nail varnish, obviously. Well, no, there's no obviously, sorry, we live in an age of equality. I could, for all you know.
Yeah, don't assume your gender.
Yeah, okay, so I could wear nail varnish every day. But what is the difficulty? When you're picking the nail colour, Do you have to think in advance what you might be wearing over the weekend, or how does it work?
No, but do you know what annoys me? Some people just stick with the one nail colour, like they just go with nudes or reds, and I'm just like, it's like buying a new car. Would you stick with the same colour all the time? No,
you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So what colour did she pick for you?
A nude, and I wasn't really. I'm like, oh, whatever now.
Oh, so you told her to pick the colour, and then you were disappointed with the colour she picked?
Yeah, but do one.
And do your nails have to match your like, say for instance, if you're going out on a Saturday night and your dress is purple, do your nails have to match your dress?
No, I wouldn't be that particular, no.
But you're right about me. My other first world problem, Jem, at the moment, I'm getting the new Galaxy S10 phone tomorrow. For my birthday.
Oh, for your birthday, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have it in the colour that I wanted it. I wanted it in sky blue.
I'd hold you.
Would you?
Yeah, because it's a phone you're going to have to look at.
Well, your man in the
But no, the reality of it is, you talk about phone colours, yeah?
Yeah.
The reality of it is you put it in the case and you don't see the colour of it anyway.
Well, your man in the Vodafone shop said it to me the other day, Jenna, when I went in. He says, well, we don't have it in that colour. And he was like, why does it matter what colour your phone is?
Yeah.
And
why does it matter? Because you always have your phone in the case.
Yeah.
In fact, I can see your phone here.
Yeah.
It's in a blue case. I couldn't tell you what colour the phone is.
What colour is your phone, Jenna?
No, where is she gone there?
No, yeah, I got the new iPhone a few weeks ago and I'm after letting it smash. I had to put a case on it, so, I mean...
Be warned. Always have your phone in the case.
You put the case in it after it's smashed.
Still no case, but sure.
Right, good luck. Thanks, Jenna. My first world problem, says this message, is I've to charge my phone twice a day because I listen to 98 FM and work all day, and by the time I get home, it's nearly dead.
Well, this new Nokia, or this new Samsung phone that I'm getting tomorrow, your man in the shop, now, your man in the shop says I'll only have to charge it once in my lifetime or something like that. No, he did say that. He's talking
you're
about
a
this
salesman's dream, you are.
A molioid battery or whatever it's called.
It's going to last forever.
This is the best battery ever, he says. He says you will never have to charge this phone again.
And 98 FM cannot stand over that claim.
We don't make the phones, it's Samsung. Well, if you remember the old Nokia phones back in the day?
Yeah, they used to last forever.
You would literally, the ones that you could play Snake on. Remember those phones?
Yeah, you could charge it on Monday and...
By the next Monday, it'd be at 90%.
Yeah. Here's a WhatsApp voice note from Michael.
First world problems. Premier League fixtures are out this morning. Have to decide which game I'm going to.
Oh, that's so difficult, isn't it? It really, really is.
And a bit of advice, because all my mates were waiting for this morning. The fixtures, they came out at 9 o'clock this morning, I think. Book your flights straight away as soon as... So if you see that Liverpool are playing Everton on the 16th of September... No, I don't know if they are. But book the flights straight away.
Now, Cindy. How are you, Cindy?
Hiya.
Now, Cindy, what is your first world problem?
Well, my first world problem, I'm just devastated. Me woman that comes in, cracks me iron and brings it back every week. It's gone 2 weeks holidays.
Oh my God, your ironing lady is on a holiday.
Oh, it's just like, they all just going out increased cows because I wouldn't be ironing. It's the only thing I can't stand this sport is ironing.
You see, I don't mind it. I'm actually planning to do all the ironing this afternoon when I go home. No, I am.
Will you collect mine on your way?
You're not cutting the grass, Adrian?
In that weather? No. I'm going to do all the ironing this afternoon.
Mine?
I watch the telly. I watch television programs.
Cindy's upset.
Stop changing the subject.
Yeah, Cindy's upset. You know who was a great woman at ironing?
Who?
Margaret Thatcher.
Was she?
Her nickname was the Iron Lady.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Her nickname was actually the Iron Lady.
I forgot that.
She's brilliant, she was.
Thank you, Cindy. Astra, what is your first world problem?
I bought a new car recently and it doesn't come with Bluetooth.
No.
Yeah, so, and it doesn't even have an aux cable, so I can't listen to music,
How old is the car? 1984?
It's 2013.
Yeah, you see, Bluetooth only started really coming in 13.
Yeah,
so.
what make of car is it?
The Ford Focus.
I thought it might have been an Astra.
You're lucky that came,
I'm not going to do that.
Friends, you're lucky that car came with wheels, Astra. At this stage.
I know. Like, I needed a diesel. I needed a good diesel.
It's amazing when you buy a car that has a feature on it. Say my previous car had heated seats.
Yeah.
Which is lovely.
That's great. I love it first thing in the morning. Great.
And now Astra, the car that I have now, doesn't have them. And it's like... I've no
Your
heat.
bum is cold.
Yeah.
Like, you feel warm in the car.
So what are you doing for your phone and like playing music and stuff?
I bought a speaker in pennies because I'm too cheap to buy an actual Bluetooth hands-free kit.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah, I was terrible.
And did you only discover that it didn't have Bluetooth or an aux cable when you got it?
Yeah.
Oh,
when I got
no.
into the car and I went to drive away, and I'm going,
That'd be
connect my phone to.
It'd be a deal breaker for me. Thank you. And finally, Drew, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Drew?
Good. How are you?
Drew, what is your first world problem?
This is terrible.
Yeah.
When you go to those hipster barbers and they give you a bottle of beer.
Yeah.
And you can't drink your beer while they're cutting your hair because you can't lean back.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
It's such a head wreck.
Oh, completely. And the worst thing was the one place that I've been going to, the last time I was there, I noticed that they've been giving me non-alcoholic beer. So that was even a worse kick.
What a rip-off!
You may as well be drinking Pellegrino.
Yeah, so
drinking non-alcoholic beer.
So okay, so they give you a beer, a non-alcoholic one at that, and you're sat there having your hair cut, and it's teasing you. The bottle is just looking at you.
You're just waiting for them just to step away so you can just grab it and have a quick sip.
Or it
Can't
could
even
be,
enjoy it.
It could be worse through the place I go to, Gmail, it's in Ranelagh, it's a male barbers as well, and they do that. They do that. It's a hipster place. And they offer you a beer or a cup of tea with your haircut. So I normally go for the cup of tea. And sure, then all the hair falls into the cup of tea and you can't enjoy the cup of tea because there's bits of your hair in it.
Ah, no, forget about it. No, done.
Right, good to talk to you, Drew. Thanks very much indeed.
Sorry for your troubles.
And it's awful. It really is. And a couple of WhatsApp voice notes from Michael. Hang on. Let's have a listen to this from Michael.
First world problems. Premier League fixtures are out this morning. Have to decide which game I'm going to.
Oh, sorry, yeah, we played that. Stephen sent this
My
one.
first world problem is I'm not in the humour to go upstairs and pack my bag for 2 weeks in the Bahamas tomorrow. I'm thinking about to move my ass. I'm Stephen.
Oh, I'm the exact opposite to that. I love packing for my holidays. I absolutely love it. All right, thanks very much indeed. They were brilliant first world problems. This is 98.
98 FM.
Dublin Talks.
Now, I just want to bring a little bit of a warning to you. This is actually something that happened to a mate of mine recently. He developed a cold sore and was told not to go next, nigh or near his newborn baby. And it's a warning that all parents need to take on board. In the UK, a newborn baby was left fighting for his life after contracting herpes after being kissed by an adult at his christening. Noah Tyndall was just 4 weeks old when his mum Ashley noticed her son's right eye had become swollen, blistered and watering. He was rushed to hospital where he spent over 2 months recovering, but has thankfully made a full recovery. Joining me on the line now is John Wills. In 2015, John and his wife Louise sadly lost their baby due to the herpes simplex virus. They have since been campaigning for greater awareness of neonatal herpes, which they say is an extremely preventable disease. John, welcome to 98 FM.
Good morning, Adrian, and good to be on again.
John, tell me a little bit more, just briefly, about what happened to your baby.
Sure. So I suppose, as you know, there have been a lot of updates, but just to give you the quick narrative of what happened. So we had a little daughter, Evelyn, that's her name, Evelyn, and she was born 19th November in 2015. She was born via an emergency C-section because just like many babies can get into a little bit of distress, but she was an overdue baby, so she was perfectly weight healthy and all that. So she spent the first couple of days down in the NICU in Holles Street Hospital. And she was cared for there. And then because it was a section, she had been in for, my wife Louise was in for 5 days. And we came back on our 5th day with what we understood to be a healthy little infant. And of course, when we use the word neonate, we are talking about the period of a baby of a month and younger. So she came home with us. Everything was fine. We were getting used to her little, as new parent, we were first-time parents to her, getting used to her little cries and moans, and she was fine. She was feeding and doing all the things you'd expect, an infant to be doing. Nothing out of the ordinary. On the week she came back, the public health nurse visited us. and did all the usual things, and everything was fine and everything checked out. And then I suppose what happened then happened quite suddenly was on the very early, I suppose, in the morning of the 1st of December. So I was changing her nappy in the evening, and she had, over that weekend, she had developed what seemed to be like a little head cold. She was a little bit sniffly. She was a little, just a little sniffly. We said, we won't take her out on the Sunday. We'll keep her in. We decided, to keep her in. Maybe it's something small. We said if anything changed, we'd bring her to the GP. But you couldn't do anything on the Sunday evening. It was kind of fine, Then Monday came along, still a little out of sorts, but still drinking, like all the things you're told. Nappies should be X amount of nappies per day. There should be a dirty one. There should be a clean one. There should be all of these, So all of the things were adding up, except that she was a little, what you would quote and unquote, a little out of sorts, So it was that evening when I was changing her for tragically what became the last time, when she became quite listless and she was always fighting, a little kicker as they are, And with that, we asked Granny to come up just have a look, because she's used to have been around little infants and saying well, what did you think? But then very quickly she actually lost colour in the house. Now, then that colour came back, but with that we decided we went straight to Tala Hospital. And when we got there, she was alive, but evidently just barely. Wow. And then at 1:09, our world changed forever when she died. And
now, it was proven that she actually contracted the virus from a member of staff at the hospital, not intentionally, obviously. But this highlights... And this is something actually a mate of mine who had a baby just a couple of weeks ago developed a cold sore and is literally not going near his baby at all. Well, he's holding the baby, but not kissing him or anything like that. That's how dangerous this is, isn't it?
Well, look, I suppose, the important message, Adrian, is that, the herpes virus and cold sores, as we know, are common, okay? They are a common thing. What it comes down to is hygiene. And I suppose we just don't want, people shouldn't be scared, but they should be taking practical precautions. So basically...
Okay, so what are the practical precautions? For example, for my mate who did 2 weeks ago have a fairly bad cold sore, and he has a newborn baby. What are the practical solutions?
Okay, so let's get practical. The practical solution there is purchase the antiviral cream, which creates a barrier and covers. Right, to have that covered up. Sometimes that forms a bit of a plaster. So basically create a barrier between that cold sore, which is where the virus is manifesting, and keep a physical barrier on it. Then wash hands. So obviously be aware of, that's the normal thing, hand hygiene, just being aware of that. And then I suppose just being mindful to keep it covered. Little infants have low immune systems, just being aware of that. And then, obviously, if for any reason something manifests and the baby seems out of sorts, just if a parent was concerned, it would be no harm to go to their doctor and just say, look, I'm aware of this, I have this, and could you just check and maybe just be aware of that. But it's basic common, unfortunately, common sense that sometimes isn't always common. And evidently, what happened to our little daughter, people probably thought, it has to be a kiss. Of course, it wasn't a kiss. It wasn't that sort of thing. Because I bet your mate, now I don't know about your mate, but he might say to you, Adrian, it began as a tingle. Now, if you get a tingle, which is a common commencing symptom of a cold sore, you might itch that or scratch that. But
okay, so I just got a question in saying, can you be harmful even if the cold sore hasn't come up yet?
Yeah, technically yes, because people can carry the virus and shed it without an actual breakout or a lesion. But again, the key thing is about, when you're around an infant, if you're practicing hand washing, and just doing the things that you have to do as a parent, but just keeping, not scaring yourself, but just being aware of, first of all, if you have a history of them, being aware of that is important. The benefit of that is if you have a history, to be careful more. You could be carrying it and not knowing it. However, again, what we have learned from the medics and the doctors is that it's about hand hygiene, and we've liaised very closely with with them. And in actual fact, on our website, which hopefully you'll share with the listeners, if they have a concern, there is a facts and statistics part of it. And also, if they have a concern, of course, go to their doctor. But one of the things we did learn very quickly is that when our little girl got it, and I said this to you before, I think of the last thing, unlike the little girl, other children who've got it, there was no rash that broke out. And it's usually a rash that comes out in an infant, and it didn't happen that way. It was very much an internal virus that went through her, and it killed her liver. And then once your liver ends, well, you know, obviously there is no more tomorrow, tragically. But like, it's very important that people might be frightened about a story like this, and our message is, look, fear doesn't get us very far, but awareness is what does it. So listeners maybe might want to go to the website, check it out, and just be aware that, you know...
let me ask you, John, sorry, are all children at risk, or is it newborns that are more at risk?
We were told, okay, so all children potentially, because immunity is low in children generally. However, infants, particularly infants in the neonatal period, their immune systems are very compromised and therefore would be more at risk of the infection that may potentially kill them, whereas a child may not be killed by it, but it could have it would have consequences in terms of, perhaps as they grow up. Like, we have had many emails in, Adrian, since our child died, of maybe mothers talking about their 12 or 13-year-old who might have contracted it when they were younger, but now they have other problems, and sometimes they're thinking, could that have been part of the infection they got years back? Because it can damage the brain. It can do things like this. But again, it's important that people don't get, it can be so easy to be scaring, and that's not our mission as parents, was to make sure that this does not happen anywhere again. But obviously our work has been in Ireland. We've met Minister Harris. The changes have been, we have now got herpes. Neonatal herpes is now in law as a notifiable disease, and it wasn't a notifiable disease, which was probably why people didn't know about it.
Exactly right. So with the health service and healthcare workers, if they have this, they have to notify it.
Yes, if it comes to the attention of a doctor, of a hospital, a GP, and it's a neonatal outbreak, they need to provide that data forward onto where it becomes recorded. Therefore, we have statistics. Because, Adrian, it was very upsetting, as bad as it was to lose a child, to be told by a neonatologist in Tala Hospital, a very kind man, but to be told that the statistics, we don't have them. That we just know about, we can only guess that if it's in the UK, then it's, we might have a statistic here, or being given the US statistics. None of those things matter, because we as a country count ourselves on providing, a quality health service. And where our infants are concerned, there can be no compromise. There must be recording of anything. Therefore, either we learn we don't have a big problem with this, or we learn, oh my God, we've more of an issue than we think.
John, can I just ask you, I have to take a quick break, but can I ask you then, in pidgin English, what do we do and what do people do to prevent their children developing what your daughter sadly not only developed, but it was fatal for her? What are the simple steps that we all should take?
Okay, so again, it comes down to the core principles of safety first around hand hygiene. So being, first of all, washing hands before being in contact with your infant. If you do know you suffer from cold sores, be aware of it, and don't hesitate if there's an outbreak of covering that up, creating the physical barrier. So creams, and again, we're not sponsored by anybody here, okay, but like creams like Survirax and things like this. And in actual fact, just for your listeners to know, Holles Street Hospital did do a really great thing after all of this, and that is they have supplies, and I hope your listeners are aware of this. If a parent or if a member of staff or if a patient comes out in a cold sore, they can the hospital will provide them with that cream, because they know that cream will create that barrier. And that's important, and it must be articulated that that's a really important change that wasn't there before, but they realise needs to be there now.
All right, John, bear with me for one moment, because I have to take a very quick break. If you want to make a comment on what you've been hearing, call us right now on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98.
98FM's
Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less.
98FM.
And it's Thursday morning. We're live until midday. This is Adrian Kennedy. We're in the middle of a conversation about how you can avoid passing on the herpes simplex virus to a young child. And be warned, it can literally kill a child. John has been telling us, and John has been on this programme before and has obviously been very heavily involved in a campaign to get this dealt with so that it can't be passed on to children, or that people become more aware of it. And we're talking about hand hygiene, and if you have a cold sore, making sure there's a physical barrier and all of that, because this is a very serious condition. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note from
Adrian,
Darren.
the saying goes, when my 5-year-old was between one, he developed eczema, and the partner at the time came in, and she was notified due to the fact that she had a cold sore that, not to kiss the child or anything, because once that gets mixed in with the eczema, it'll cause horrific pain and more than likely hospitalise the child. Scary to think.
Now, Suzanne, you have children yourself and currently have a cold sore.
Yes.
And you're obviously conscious of that, are you?
Yeah, that's why I was texting in questions. I was only actually thinking of this yesterday. My cold sore suddenly appeared, and I was like, I became a old baby, and I was saying, oh God, I was kissing him yesterday. Now I don't do the lips, or I don't kiss only on the top of the head. That's my rule, probably since I heard him talking the last time. But I was just wondering, was I harming him if I'm, before the cold sore breaks out, and then how long am I contagious for?
Well, John, how would you? I know you, and John isn't. John isn't a clinician. We just have to make that perfectly clear.
Yeah.
I'm a psychologist, not a doctor in medical way. But yes, okay. And Sylvia, is it? Sylvia. Suzanne, sorry, Suzanne. Yeah. Look, I suppose, again, I can't advise other than to say the fact that, what I would already say is the fact that you're actually aware in itself is preventative. Okay, the fact that you're aware of that you have that in your mind about it, and you already said there you wouldn't go to the lips with kisses and that sort of thing, and you have been, have you been putting on the cream or whatever? Has that been?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so again, you're taking the logical steps. If you have to do anything intimate with the child in terms of all these nappies and all this sort of stuff, it's the hand washing thing as well, which would be, again, important. I suppose after that, the only thing you can be doing is just observing, as doctors tell us, just observe your child. Are there any changes? And I suppose what you are aware of now is, let's say, God forbid if anything did manifest itself, you would be already armed when you go to the doctor to say, listen, could it be this? And then they would be on top of that.
Yes, as opposed to them scrambling around looking for what it might be. Your awareness, even, Suzanne, that you have a cold sore would be enough to assist doctors. Let me just bring in just one or two very quick calls. Pat, you're on 98FM. How are you, Pat?
Hi, Adrian.
Tell me about your son going back.
My son going back about 35 years ago. He had a hernia operation in one of the Children's National Hospitals. I won't mention the hospital. And it was an overnight stay thing. Picked him up the next morning, and he had 3 dots on the top of his head. And I asked the skin specialist, I won't mention her name, at the time in the same hospital, what do you expect? She said, it's a children's hospital. He was probably wiped with a dirty cloth.
Wow. I'd like to think things have improved somewhat since then.
Hopefully.
I would like to think so. All right, I'm really sorry for cutting across you, Pat, because I'm just out of time. John, if anybody wants any more information, tell us about the website and what people can find out there.
Yeah, there's just one other thing, Adrian, I would think it's important around, you were asking me protection things, but I'll just give you the website first. So the website is www.rememberingevelyn, and that's REMEMBERINGEIBHLIN.org. Okay, that's the website. They're welcome to come there. They're also welcome to contact us, right? Now, obviously, contact us not in the medical way, but they can. The other thing just to mention, I think it's very, very important, mums-to-be, one of the things that's important is there is a thing, as you'd probably be aware of genital herpes. Genital herpes, 90% of these transmissions in a neonate come from the mother, right? In other words, during birth, or it's in the mum already. Now, in our case, it wasn't in mum. The 10% are the ones that come from other people. Okay, that's the facts of it. Now, genital herpes may have, many women carry that. And they may not be, and we're conscious of this because we work very closely with the medical world. Sometimes we've been told it's not disclosed to the obstetrician. So in other words, mum might feel embarrassed. might not be saying.
Okay, and what you're saying, and I'm really sorry for cutting across you, John, because I'm out of time. But if you've ever had herpes, it's very important before you give birth to your child that the medical profession is let know about it.
Are just aware of it in terms of it can help the clinical picture. Okay.
Very good. All right, John.
Okay.
Sorry to rush you there, but if you want to find out more information, the website is rememberingevelyn.org. That's EIBHLIN. Rememberingevelyn.org. Thank you for joining us today. We're back again tomorrow at 10. Barry Dunn is on the way, and in the next hour he's got some great music lined up like these.
I got no rules, I count 'em. 98 FM's
Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less.
98 FM.